Morning, everyone. This is Russell Rucker, and I'm here for another constitutional talk. Most recently we were discussing the 14th Amendment, and I thought we'd get back. We discussed Section 1, which, gives citizenship to the former slaves. But I want to get into Section 2 today, which deals a little bit more with freeing the slaves, giving them representation, that kind of thing. The 13th through 15th are Reconstructionist amendments, and we're basically dealing with the South here, following the Civil War, and we're dealing with slavery and an end to slavery. We'd fought the Civil War. We lost 500,000 people in the Civil War. It was the most bloody conflict in our nation's history. But once it was passed and Lincoln was dead, the country just wasn't in much of a mood of reconciliation. There were a lot of people that were maimed, hurt, and that sort of thing. The carpetbaggers had come down from the north, and there was pain and suffering all over. But Section 2 reads, in part, and I'll break it into two sections here. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole numbers of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for, and it lists them, President and Vice President of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial offices of the state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged. So basically what we're talking about here is we're ending the 3/5 clause where we're counting slaves as 3/5 of a person for the purpose of taxation and representation. So we're going to end that practice, and everybody is counted in whole numbers except for Indians. And we're only talking about the male population, so women don't apply here. So we're going to give equal representation in the House of Representatives and in the legislature, and we're telling them that they've got a right to vote for any office, from president all the way down to your local legislatures, your state offices, and we're giving blacks the right to vote. I mean, what we're really doing in these amendments is we're making blacks equal citizens, as they should be. Okay, then we get down to the next section. And citizens of the United States are in any way abridged, except for the participation in rebellion or other crime. The basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the numbers of such male citizens shall bear in the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in each state. So they're going to reduce the representation based on those individuals that participated in the rebellion. Now, the rebellion we're talking about is the Civil War. So we're going to reduce it by the number that fought in the war, or in other words, provided help, really. We're going to reduce it in the proportion of the number of such male shall bear to the whole numbers of the male citizen 21 years of age. So 21 years of age is the legal right to vote when these were passed. Now remember, we're talking about the 1860s here. So a citizen of the United States abridged, except for the participation in rebellion or other crime. the basis of representation. So we're going to count the blacks, but we aren't going to count the veterans. So we are eliminating a great representation in the states of Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, through Virginia and down south. This is a pretty harsh penalty for fighting in the Civil War, but that's what it is. We are punishing the South. We're eliminating representation of the South, and it's a pretty harsh penalty. So that's primarily where we get into Section 2. Now I'm going to move here into Section 3 because Section 3 has become kind of important lately, although it really shouldn't be. So Section 3, no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president or vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state when having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of the state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, which shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid and comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. So no person shall be a senator or a representative to Congress. See, this is a real interesting thing because it talks about taking an oath to defend the Constitution. Well, that implies anyone that served in the Army or the Navy of the United States prior to the Confederacy being on. Remember, this just a few years after the Confederacy was defeated, and there were a great number of people that were in the Army or Navy, and in the House, and in the Senate, and in the legislative body, and in anyone that gave aid and comfort to the Confederacy. So we're talking about almost everyone in the South except the slaves, which is one of the reasons you had a big black contingent in the Congress directly following the Civil War, because they could still be elected. Okay. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or an elector of president or vice president or held any office, civil or military, under the United States or under the state which, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member or any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of the United States. But you know who this doesn't apply to? Is the president himself. See, this section is devised to limit those that fought in rebellion from representing anyone in Congress. And that's really the purpose of this amendment. It's not meant for some other purpose. It's not meant to deprive someone to run for president. Frankly, they didn't. I doubt if they thought that was even going to happen. But this is dealing with the South and the Confederacy. It has nothing to do with modern politics by today's vestige. The 14th Amendment is designed twofold. It's designed to give blacks fair representation. It's designed to give the children of black citizenship. It's these amendments are to make them equal citizens. That's the one side of the coin of this amendment. The other is to punish the South, as if the South needed any more punishment. They were pretty well ravaged, their buildings were destroyed, and most of the war was fought in the South, although there were some battles up north and out west. But then the carpetbaggers came down and they pretty much stole everything that was left. They really had nothing left. And here again, they're, you know, kicking the dog while it's down. They're going after the South. They're going after the citizens of the South. They're going after anyone that gave aid and comfort. That's a lot of people in an all-out war. And that's what the Civil War was an all-out war. So they have really punished the South here. And they're limiting the number of people that can represent the South on top of that. So you can no longer be a senator or a House member unless Congress removes that distinction of punishment. It does give a door open for Congress to allow it to occur again. But that's the purpose of the amendment twofold. The importance here is making everyone equal. Equality of the races. That's what's really important in this amendment. And I hope that that's what you take away from it. The South is punished, but it's not punished forever. And this is one of the reasons why the South was held for so long by the Democrat Party, really over 100 years after this occurred, was because of the vast punishment that was leveled out by the northern country, which was basically the Republican Party controlling the North. And that's why there was such immense hatred for that party in the South for so long. And why Northerners really, even to this day, aren't really that welcome in the South. But we move on as a country. Blacks are given equal citizenship. They're given the rights to the court. Their children are given equality. And this is what's really important in our Constitution as we open up the Constitution to people that were not first thought of. I'd like you to think about that and really try to get past the inequality that was originally there and how we're expanding it into these other areas. The Constitution is an important piece of work, and it gives equality eventually to virtually everyone under the law. Think about that for a little bit, and we'll catch you next time on the next Constitutional Talk. You have a good day now.